All right. So we have Dr. Kim, and Dr. Kim is a pharmacist.
Okay.
Dr. Kim makes about $170,000 per year, and she wants to know. Everyone talks about saving for retirement, but no one talks about saving for life's biggest milestones. How many goal based investment funds should a family actually have?
This is a very interesting question because this would depend on the family in particular. So for us, we're good with our three sinking fund portfolio. Again, we have our personal, we have our business, we have our investments. Now, if you know you have other things that's on the horizon and you want to create a sub investment account, let's say if it's over 2 years, I'm fully for it. Let's do it. If you know, I know in certain communities, having a big wedding and paying for it for your child is very, very important. I know
Mm-hmm.
Nigerians, I mean, you could easily spend 6 figures on a wedding. We have colleagues, Dr. Patel, shout out to him. He spent upwards of 6 figures easy because they have
Mm-hmm.
multiple days worth of weddings.
Yeah.
If you know weddings is something that's important to you and you want to make sure you're ready for it, then that might be a sub investment account you're creating on the behalf of that child. So whenever that day comes, you're actually able to help out with their wedding. Let's say if you want to purchase a home in the future, and that's a goal for your family, you
Mm-hmm.
can create a sub investment account within that account.
Mm-hmm.
See, the investment account doesn't have to be individually labeled for this, for this, for this, but you do need to keep a good accounting on what kind of pools are going to come on that account. Just like you have your checking account. At the beginning of the month, you know, okay, my utility bill is going to hit, my phone bill is going to hit, we got to buy food, we got to get gas, but it all
Mm-hmm.
comes out of that same account, right?
Right.
We don't have a bank account for gas and a bank account for food and a bank
Right.
account for everything. It's the
Like
same way.
everyday living type of account.
Exactly. See, this is everyday investing.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be investing every day for this eventual goal that we're going to be hitting. See, you know what's going on in your family life better than anybody else. So it's your responsibility to make sure you're planning for them. I've already given the example of a wedding, a down payment on a house. Again, if sending your child to college debt-free or at least assisting in them going to school is important, 529 is something you want to definitely have a part of your portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
If investing in their future to make sure they're ready for retirement and they can actually go into the career they love versus just having to work anywhere for the sake of, then maybe investing in their future retirement is important.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's going to be important to sit down and understand what are the needs and complexities of your family. I know for us, we like to go on vacations. Now, would that go into our investment fund or would that go into our personal fund? What do you think?
I'm going to say that would go into our personal fund because usually that would be something that's less than 2 years.
Absolutely.
So
And
that's a revolving investment per se. But
exactly.
something that's revolving, that's happening multiple times a year or at least one time a year, but it's happening every year.
Exactly. So because we keep it in our personal fund and it's going to be in a money market account or a high yield savings account, regardless of what goes on in the stock market, we're still going to go on vacation.
Right.
Things could sink. That does not affect our day to day because we keep funds separate in different buckets.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's say somebody knows that they want to do a renovation on their practice within 2 years. Would that go? What bucket would that go in? Their business sinking fund or their investment sinking fund?
Business.
That would go into a business sinking fund because regardless of what goes on inside of the stock market, your business is still secured and you have the resources necessary. See, what happens is when a COVID comes down and businesses don't have cash ready to go, everything is in the stock market. See, anytime there's economic downturn, it tends to happen across the board. If real estate is going down, stocks are going down, everything tends to go down together or things tend to go up together. And we get so comfortable in the go up part that we don't understand that things can come down.
Right.
But by keeping things separate into the different funds and making sure that if it's less than 2 years, it's not in the stock market, but it's in a safer cash type investment, which is your high yield savings or your money market account, you'll take whatever interest they give you, but you're really truly, because you're giving up the higher opportunity to get a return, what you're doing is buying peace of mind, knowing that regardless of what happens, that does not affect our day-to-day for at least the next 2 years.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think that's really good to make sure that you separate them into the different categories based on how often it'll be used. Because like you said, if someone was planning a wedding and if they were paying for it themselves, then you know, okay, this is probably going to happen sometime within a year. So let's not put this money in the stock market because I'm going to need to take it out sooner as you're paying deposits and things like that. So I need to take it out a lot sooner than me planning or building a house. So I think really determining what category certain things fit in. I really want you to give me a harder one. Really determining
if you want a hard one, I can give you a hard one.
Which categories things fit in, and having that timeline helps people decipher which category it'll fit in best.
Absolutely. And one thing people have to understand is that as the goal gets closer in a time horizon, it's going to end up switching. Mm-hmm. So for instance, let's say you want to help your child go to college. Mm-hmm. And let's say that child is 17 years old, to move it right? Out. It's time to start liquidating these funds. Instead of having them in the market, you want to start getting them to more of a bonds type cash situation. Mm-hmm. Now, guess what? Does that mean we liquidate all of the 529 and back into a cash position? What do you think?
I would say no. One of two things. You have to prepare in the event that the child decides that they don't want to go to school. So if they don't want to go to school, can you be penalized if they take it out and the child? You can be penalized.
See, there's a difference. See, 529, you don't have to necessarily liquidate school, but and take business. It out. You don't have to liquidate and take it out. You can liquidate within the account. You can move from more of a stock position to more of a bond position. So you're liquidating your stocks into bonds, but it's still inside of the 529 account. Okay. If you take them funds out of the 529 account, then you are penalized. Why would I fully liquidate the 529, still within the same confines of the 529, for my students' senior year if they're only 17? Think about it. Mm-hmm. So if they're 17 years old, when I'm going to start liquidating and moving from a market position, which is stocks, which is ETFs, which is index funds, I'm moving all the funds for the first year of school from the market to bonds. Mm-hmm. Now, once they hit senior year in high school, I'm going to go ahead and move the sophomore year as well from in the market to bonds. Mm-hmm. Freshman year in college, I'll move the junior year from stocks to bonds.
Gotcha.
And I'm still keeping that 2-year buffer in between the stocks to bonds.
Some can still have a higher return, exactly, while the rest of it is more.
So a portion of the funds has the opportunity to continue to grow, mm-hmm, but you are safeguarded in the odd chance that the market has a drastic downturn. You can still be covering 2 years worth of college, even if things turn.
That makes sense because you're not paying for college all at once.
Exactly.
So why not maximize the amount that you have in the account and getting the highest return?
See, the thing about finances is we think everything is black and white. Mm-hmm. I'm going to completely do or I'm going to completely not do. But when it comes to finances, there's a lot of gray areas that if you don't understand the nuances and you're not interested in learning nuances, I would definitely suggest getting the help of a financial professional. Because that small mistake of thinking that, my 529, I'm going to take the funds literally out of the 529 to pay for college expenses. You may do that, but then you're going to be sitting with cash for 3 to 4 years waiting for the senior year to hit. No kind of growth. You can't put it in, take it out, put it in, take it out. Like, no, when it comes out, it has to go towards college and education-related expenses, or you're going to be hit with a penalty. Mm-hmm. So that's the beautiful thing about when it comes to finance. You want to learn the nuances or get help when it comes to the nuances.
That's good. I like that. Very savvy, I must say.
Hello, I'm Jonathan with Team Financials, and here at Team Financials, we make filing simple, accurate, and stress-free. Tax season does not have to be stressful, and we are here to make it as simple and stress-free as possible for you. Whether you need help with your personal tax return or your business owner looking for expert tax preparation, our experienced team is here to guide you every step of the way. We don't just file your taxes. Our slogan here at Team Financials is we educate so you can elevate, because when you understand your finances, you make stronger, smarter moves for your future. If you mention Dr. Wealth when filing with us, you will receive $75 off your personal and business tax preparations. Ready to get started? Please reach out to us at 704-412-4242 or book directly on our website at teamfinancials.com. Take care. Have a good rest of the day. Bye.
Next, we have Dr. Williams. Last but not least, we have Dr. Williams, and Dr. Williams is a family medicine doctor with an income of about $260,000 per year. Dr. Williams says there are so many accounts now, 529s, custodial accounts, and the new Trump account. How do parents decide which one makes the most sense for building wealth for their children?
This is a multi-layered question that would literally take probably a 2 to 3 series episode to get through and digest. But I'm going to give a very high level answer to this. First and foremost, you need to understand what goal are you saving for this child? If it's going to be education expenses, then usually you're going to be leaning towards your 529 or Roth IRA if the child has some type of earned income. Because you can always take the principal out, meaning that the funds that you put in, you can always take out of the Roth IRA after 5 years and not be penalized. Does that make sense? And all the growth can continue to grow towards their retirement in the future. That's a very nice way to pay for school. Also, like we talked about, the 529 is a great way to pay for a child's education because the funds that you put in, you don't get a tax deduction on. For most states, you do get a state tax deduction, but you do not get a federal tax deduction. But as the funds continue to grow, it grows tax-free, meaning that if it kicks out dividends or anything like that, you don't pay any type of taxes on it. Now, when it's time to take the funds out, if it's for education-related expenses, you also get it tax-free. Now, let's say the child gets all the way through college and there's still a lot left in the 529. With the 2.0 Secure Act, there's been a lot of changes that actually enable you to use a 529 in a lot of different ways, meaning you can now transfer up to $35,000, meaning you still have to stay within the annual limits on what you can put into a Roth IRA.
Right.
But you can transfer $35,000 from the 529 into a Roth IRA over a series of years. You can also use up to $10,000 to be able to pay a portion of your student loans. So that's why you and I both have 529s, because when it hits $10,000, we can actually use it to pay student debt. So let's say if our future child has student debt, you can pay $10,000 towards it. So as things are changing with the 529, it's becoming a lot more flexible in what you can and cannot do with it. Now, if I'm going to try to compare the accounts, this new Trump account is throwing things up in the air a little bit because most people don't understand what the Trump account is for.
Right.
The Trump account is in a very unique spot because it doesn't have tax advantages on the front end and it doesn't have tax advantages on the back end. So it's not like the 529 where you put funds in on the front end, but you can remove them all on the back end and get all those taxes. And it's not like the personal Roth IRA where you pay taxes on the front end and you never pay taxes on it again. See, the Trump account, you can put funds in on the behalf of your child, but that's going to be after tax money you're putting in. Now, whenever those funds come out, as we talked about earlier in the episode, the difference between a taxable brokerage and a traditional 401k. A traditional 401k is going to be added on top of your income. That's how a Trump account is going to be taxed whenever that child takes funds out of the account, if it's not for one of the qualified expenses, which is like starting a business, education expenses, or purchasing your first home.
So they can be double taxed.
You're going to be taxed regardless, but you will not be hit with the early withdrawal penalty because at age 18, the Trump account transforms from a Trump account to a traditional IRA. It transforms. So you're going to be taxed on the front end and the back end regardless. But the question is, can you pull those funds out at age 18 for education, to start a business, to purchase a home without being hit with that 10% early withdrawal penalty? That's removed if you do it for one of those expenses. Now, the key tricky part about the Trump account that is actually very, very powerful if you use wisely is if you stuff the Trump account with funds and it continues to grow as time goes on, you have the ability to now convert the traditional IRA that the child has to a Roth IRA and be able to have those tax-free dollars. See, our child is 1 year old and that child, we love him, but he doesn't have the ability to have earned income right now. See, I don't like to play with the tax code and say, well, maybe he can do a little modeling, he can do this, and he can do that. No. My brother's a CPA. We don't play with the tax law. So now we have an opportunity to be able to put funds into his future retirement, even though he does not have earned income. See, this Trump account is going to be a really good way in the earlier years of kids when they don't have earned income to be able to contribute to their future retirement. Because what happens is when they hit age 18, we can start contributing now as of July 4th, 2026, and we can contribute every single year. And then by the time he hits age 18, let's say it's a $100,000 account. We can roll that account over across a few different years to help minimize the taxes. Now, what does every American get for their taxes as an individual? It's something called a standard deduction. Now, what's one thing that every American gets? It's something called a standard deduction. And as of 2026, you get over $16,000 cut off of your taxes. So let's say at age 18, if he has $100,000 sitting in his Trump account, he can slowly move those funds over. And if it's under $16,000 and if he's independent of us, he doesn't have to worry about the kiddie tax. Then at that point, he can transform $16,000 a year and have no taxes on it. So you can make a Roth IRA from the Trump account once they turn 18 if the income is low enough, and you can basically reduce or almost eliminate the taxes from that. So you can basically future tomorrow, create a Roth account today. So if he doesn't have earned income or she doesn't have earned income, this Trump account is truly the only way you can invest in a child's future retirement without even thinking about playing with the law.
So let me make sure I got this straight, and tell me anywhere in this that it may be incorrect.
Absolutely.
So at 18, it automatically rolls over from a Trump account to a traditional IRA.
Yes.
They don't have to have worked for it to turn into a Roth. But there is a chance that you can roll it over into a Roth, or is it a backdoor Roth?
You can always transfer traditional IRA funds into Roth IRA funds, but you can't even, like right now.
But by the back door?
It would be ideal for him to just put money straight into his Roth IRA. But because he doesn't have earned income, he can't. So we have to put funds into the Trump account today,
right?
So we can automatically roll it over to the traditional IRA. And while he's at his lowest income levels, while he's in college or freshly done with college, he can roll the funds from the traditional IRA into the Roth IRA and have those tax-free dollars for the rest of his life.
Once it turns into the Roth.
Once it rolls over into the Roth.
Right. And so is it tax going from the traditional to the rollover Roth?
Absolutely. That's why we talked about the standard deduction.
Okay.
So you can roll over $16,000 plus as of 2026. Who knows what it's going to be in 2040, whatever.
But you're going to roll over small increments.
You're going to do them in increments. You're not going to try to roll over the whole $100,000. Let's say if a child has $100,000 in the Trump account at that point, you're not going to try to roll over the entire $100,000, but you're going to do them in small chunks to be able to mitigate how much taxes you're going to be paying. Absolutely.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for that breakdown. Perfect. So, Dr. Williams, we hope that answers your question.
Absolutely.
All right. So it looks like that is all that we have for today.
Man, this was an action-packed episode. Y'all really got into my brain on some of these questions.
Yeah, no, those are really great explanations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you have any future questions, feel free to send us an email or DM us at the information below or to get your questions answered on the Dr. Wealth Show. If you took nothing else away from this, make sure you establish your sinking funds for you and your family, and at least have the 3 sinking funds. Have your personal and your business sinking funds for anything less than 2 years. Make sure you have your investment sinking funds for anything further out than 2 years that you're actively investing and putting into smart and sophisticated places. Now, do understand that the closer you get to that 2-year horizon, the less you want to have in the stock market or in another alternate investment. You want to start curtailing that. Again, if it's 5 years out, you can be more in an invested state. If it's 2 to 3 years out, probably want to start moving it into a safer place, because the sooner you need the funds, the more it needs to be in a safe place. We talked about 529s, we talked about Trump accounts, we talked about IRAs, we talked about Roth 401ks. We talked about so much in this episode. This is an action-packed one. I suggest you listen to this one twice because there's a lot to be learned here.
All right. So we'll see y'all next week on step number 7. But until then, we hope y'all have a blessed week.
See ya. Peace.
If you've been listening to the show, you probably heard us talk about the Doctor's Blueprint, the 9-step framework that helps doctors go from 6-figure debt to financial freedom. But a lot of listeners have asked the same question. How do I apply this to my own situation? That's exactly why we created the Dr. Wealth Blueprint Plan. It's a personalized financial roadmap designed specifically for doctors. We walk through your entire financial picture, your debt, insurance coverage, saving strategies, investment plan, and long-term goals, and then turn it into a clear step-by-step plan based on the Doctor's Blueprint. If you're interested, just text the word blueprint to 704-336-9313, and we'll send you the details and application. Again, that's blueprint to 704-336-9313 to learn more about the Dr. Wealth Blueprint Plan.
Show is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not intended to be financial, legal, or medical advice. We are not acting as your personal financial advisors. The strategies discussed are general in nature and may not be appropriate for your individual situations. You should always consult your own qualified financial, tax, and legal professionals before making decisions about your money. The host and guests are not responsible for any actions you take based on the information shared on this show.